Cimone works at the intersection of insurance, capital access, and economic empowerment, helping entrepreneurs move from visibility to ownership and build real wealth in the new economy. Cimone Casson is the founder and CEO of Cannas Capital, a global InsurTech agency specializing in protecting high growth in emerging industries like cannabis, craft beverage, and professional athletes. She is also the creator of EquiRate AI, a patent pending underwriting platform helping expand access to responsible capital through standardized, inclusive lending frameworks. What's up, my financially intentional people? I'm honored to be joined today by Cimone Casson, and she has an extraordinary story of starting a business and getting it to multi-million dollar success. And I just think it's inspiring for us to normalize having these kind of people in our lives and learning from these people. So I'm excited to talk about her journey and for you to learn and for you to get to know Cimone. Hey, Cimone, welcome to the Financially Intentional Podcast.
Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing?
Let's start from the beginning. Let's talk about what inspired you to go down this entrepreneurial journey. And I'm sure the journey wasn't linear, so we want to know all about it.
No, absolutely not. I would tell you. So I probably took the most untraditional route anybody could possibly take. I think I was always an entrepreneur at heart. I always knew that was something that I wanted to do. Let me say this. So I own one of the fastest growing InsurTechs in the United States, right? We're in Canada, New Delhi, India, and of course, America. And we catapulted really quickly. But my tradition, I don't have a college degree, right? A lot of people. So I don't have a college degree. I went to college, right? Like many people. And I ended up moving. I grew up in Michigan. I ended up moving to Chicago, right? And I actually studied fashion design. Right?
Very fashionable, by the way.
Thank you. People tell me that, and I guess maybe all of the money didn't go out the window. But I actually started with fashion design. And I was just like any other young girl living in Chicago. Money is really tight. And I became an exotic dancer. And I actually worked for 10 years as a stripper. In addition to that, I sold drugs and a bunch of other things, which leads me to how I actually got here. I always knew that good dope sold itself, right? And so when I ended up leaving, I went to school for fashion design. Really cool. And I started to work at different places and I became a makeup artist. I actually became a makeup artist and was a makeup artist for celebrities and a host of other people. And I actually ended up working in retail and became one of the beauty stylists for Nordstrom's, which was a great job, which is one of the ways where I learned about great customer service. Anyway, in the downturn, I opened up my own makeup studio, but of course people, and this is in 2008, y'all, that tells you how
hard time.
But people weren't buying services like that anymore. And I ended up going into a bank program, just regular. And they had an investment advisor training program. And you could go in and you could do this. And it was a 1-year course. And I did it in 9 months. And I became the first and only insurance champion who didn't have an insurance license. They made me the champion before I was in the license. I was gutsy though. It wasn't nothing they could do with me. So I ended up going into this and I worked there for quite some time and I had junior partners and I was managing about $100 million in assets, but I wasn't happy. I wasn't satisfied. And I came back to Michigan. Now when I came back in 2018, I had no idea what I was going to do. And I wanted you guys to understand, in Chicago, everybody is investment savvy. Like my largest client that I had over $3 million in investments for, this man had I think he dropped out of school in the 3rd grade. He ended up working in a factory that kept getting bought and bought and bought, and they would give him profit sharing. And he ended up retiring from what we know as Honeywell. So he had $3.5 million with me. So I share that to say investing is very savvy and very talked about in Chicago. In Illinois, when I came back to Michigan, this is a very blue collar state. I thought I was going to go and get everybody's money, right? They told me, no, girlfriend, I hope it work out for you. They didn't want nothing to do with me. So I then had a boyfriend at that time, and we were watching television, and I saw them talk about Proposition 1. This was where they were going to make medical marijuana would be able to be adult use. And he said, what you going to do? You not getting a job or whatever? And I said, you know what? I'm going to insure cannabis businesses. And he said, can you do that? I said, hell, I don't know. We'll figure it out. But a couple things, I knew how to sell dope, right? That was easy. And I also knew that cannabis at that time was unbanked. Now it's underbanked, but they couldn't get banking. But the one thing that every state made mandatory for them was insurance. That was the only thing that indemnified them. So at the time, I didn't have nothing but a life insurance license. But I said I could figure this out. So I went, and my birthday came up, and he asked me, he said, baby, what you want for your birthday? And I said, sweetheart, I would love if you would buy me these licenses. And he said, you don't want a purse or some earrings? And I looked him in the eye and I said, I am no longer accepting depreciating assets.
Go ahead, girl.
Girl, look, and I think I had $36.20 in my account, but I gave it to him, didn't I?
Let me tell you something. You was operating from the place like you already had it.
I was operating, right? And so just every man that has ever been in my life has always invested in my future, right? Whatever it was. And that's a thing for me, ladies. I will tell y'all something.
To teach the girls out there, okay? We don't want purses. We want appreciated assets.
I'm telling you right now, I have never been jaded. And I look at these people, a little ring and all of that other stuff is cute. But my man now, he's building out I have a college. He has a doctor's degree. I have a college where we have the only continued education, and he made it for me. I'm going to make hundreds and thousands of dollars off of that. So I'm just saying, a lot of y'all chasing the wrong bag.
Listen, if you don't take nothing from this podcast episode, y'all better get that.
Right. Don't chase the wrong bag. Don't chase the wrong bag. So anywho, he gave me the $400, which I started this company in my mom's basement with $400. And it's now the InsurTech alone is valued at $30 million. And we are in 3 different countries, Canada, United States, and New Delhi.
Before you go on, let us know exactly what InsurTech is for people that don't know what that is.
Wonderful. So it's an insurance agency, but 80% of our company is run by AI, which makes it an InsurTech. From our underwriting system, our back office, to our customer service, all the way to the way that we receive premiums and analysis, it's all based on tech, right? Even our college, where we have the only continued education in Michigan that teaches commercial cannabis coverage, it's an AI operated system. So that's what makes us InsurTech. I have always been one of those ones that was on the cusp of everything. So our InsurTech, we cover only 4 industries: cannabis, craft beverage, hospitality, but those are hotels and resorts, right? We do a few restaurants if they make the grade. And then also, of course, professional athletes. And so we cover everything from draft protection and NIL.
So you're protecting commercial assets. Like, you're not doing individual policies of like the business owners.
Of course. Yep. Commercial assets or high net worth. Yep. Yep. So we will do a house, but it's got to be a mansion. We do life insurance, but we do private placement. So $1 million to up to $100 million.
Okay. Just clarifying for the people.
Yeah. I tell everybody, insurance, I see a lot of them, but understand this. It's the same amount of paperwork that it's going to do for you to do a $10,000 final expense policy as it does for you to do $1 million policy. The difference of it is I just get paid a whole lot more.
100%. 100%. And the insurance agency the insurance business is interesting to me, but I like that's the lane that you're in, because first of all, I want to applaud you for seeing a gap in an industry and being an early adapter of being like, these people don't have insurance. They're going to be mandated to have insurance. And I know people aren't jumping on this fast enough because most bigger insurance companies, they can't pivot like you can. So you hopped on it and you got in there. So I
got in there in 2018, and we're probably, if you Google Cannas Capital or Cimone Casson, we're the most recognized brand in insurance in cannabis.
I love that. And your story is just incredible. First of all,
ain't it a good time? It's a good time.
It is. It's inspiring. I just feel, but like without having like formal education, you understood the game and you understand that what matters is what is going to sell and who is buying it. And that it takes, again, the same amount of effort to sell to somebody who's spending $10 than it is to sell to somebody that's spending $1 million. And so you always go and lean to the one. Like, that's bars. And I think it gives hope to people who feel like they have to check these boxes and do all these things before they can act. And it does seem like you don't let anything get in your way when it comes to success, when it comes to what you want out of life. And I think that's super inspirational.
Thank you so much. And something that people that I'm reminded of, I will be honest with you. When you work as a dancer, and I know I got some girlfriends out there, y'all don't fool me. And mind you, this is many moons, but I tell this part of this story because when you're there, everybody is on the same playing field. So if you meet somebody that's a billionaire, right? If you're there to work or whatever, and it really gets you to a point where you're really comfortable with having large dollar conversations. In addition to that, I was meeting with an attorney who does compliance for banks that want to do cannabis, right? And we were talking about my AI system or whatever. And I explained to him that our industry, in the cannabis industry, because all of them have lack of money, this is the only place where him and I play at the same playing field, and I would eat his lunch. So with that being said, there's a gutsiness that it takes to be me. And I want to tell women, being a woman is a superpower, but you have to be able to leverage it and use it, right? So never expose. I try to be nice on the eyes, but I'm not going nowhere with nobody. You know what I mean? I have some of the top celebrity clients in cannabis. Some of the top athletes are my clients, right? You have to understand in business, and I see this, I've hired and fired a lot of women because they don't understand the difference. And I'm not saying everybody, but understand that your femininity is a superpower, but your restraint is even more. Right? So you can go in, and I just tell them, go in with a big stick. If I know, by the time I open up my mouth, everybody in there knows I know what's going on, right? And the respect will follow.
Yeah. No, I really love that. Yes.
It's a superpower, ladies. It is a superpower if you know how to use it.
If you use it properly, just like anything else. Like, you can't be falling for the okie doke. And that's how you're going to fall off every time. Yes. That's in all walks of life. You know what I'm saying? Like, people sell themselves way too short.
I have a saying that I tell everybody in life: you either the hoe or you the pimp. Choose one. You got to choose one.
I identify as a pimp. So
yes. All day you have to. But I know that a lot of the time, us as Black women, we get pegged to be either, I hate to say it, the bitch or the hoe, right? Either you're too mean and too stringent, or you're too loose and you're whatever. And I know that ends up being a very difficult place. And I look at myself, I'm in extremely male dominant industries. But in most cases, I'm the most powerful person in the room. All of my industries are controlled by men. All of them. But everybody's Cimone Casson until I walk in the room.
No, I love that. I love that. I want you to talk a little bit more about like how you insure athletes, what that looks like, NIL contracts, like all that kind of stuff. Because I know the AI, I want to talk about AI too in that landscape.
Right. NILs are fun.
But the athletes, because you insure them personally, and then all the stuff that goes into it, I think people don't understand that back end. So I want you to talk more about that.
Awesome. Okay, so this is my jam, right? So, of course, I love all of my industries, but professional athletes is really moving. So I just came back from the combine, the NFL combine in Indianapolis, and then in 2 weeks, I'm going to the NBA Combine in Chicago. So biggest misconception is a lot of people don't understand the difference between NILs and endorsements. So we'll talk about that part first, and then I'll go into how we protect athletes. So the first thing is my biggest job as an insurance agent is to make sure that your first check is not your last check. And what does that mean? So we're in a very new sports economy where outside of just having your contract of you being a talent or you playing, there's other ways for you to be able to make money. And that goes all the way down. I think in some states you can make money as young as 10 years old. So what does that look like? But people are confused on what that looks like. So the first thing that we do is we do professional athlete protection. So I'll just talk about that first. So what that means is draft protection. Let's say little Johnny has a wonderful arm. He's going to be the next quarterback, all of these other things. And he's made it to the lottery and he's made it to the pick. And then he goes to the lottery, he goes to the combine and he tears his rotator cuff. Now he was expected to be number 5. But because of the injury, now he's number 10, right? And so there are millions of dollars that are attached to that. So because of that, my insurance, we've come in and we're backed by the Lloyd's of London, which is the top insurance company in the world, Craig. In the world, right? In the world. If you got something that says Lloyd's of London on it, if something happens, they're going to pay it out. Anyway, they're backed by Lloyd's of London. And so it can be up to $10 to $15 million that can go in to be able to be insured, right? And that's a 1-year contract. Let's look at some of our athletes. You guys know that they pay you to play. They don't pay for you to stay at home, right? So if there's temporary injury or permanent injury, it comes in. So what does that look like? Pretty much that's rich people's workman's comp. It's millions of dollars lump sum of rich person's workman's comp. We even have in some markets that we can do reputation. So what does that mean? Let's say, heaven forbid, a player that are on the off season. Of course, they wouldn't do this when it was on the on season, but off season, let's say they were drinking and driving with one of their friends and somebody got into a car accident and heaven forbid somebody's life was taken. We don't want that, but their reputation could be damaged because of that. And then there's monies that will come into there. So I lead into the reputation because reputation has a whole lot to do when we talk about NILs, which is name, image, and likeness, and also endorsements. So a lot of people don't understand what the difference of it is. NIL allows you to monetize your identity. So just for you can make money off of it, right? So by content creators, and I'm glad you brought that in. And then Mark, because I'm going to bring that back up. Endorsements are based on a brand relationship. It's marketing. It's a marketing contract. So a brand has said, hey, you speak directly to my audience. You're who my audience aspires to be. And you meet our vision or our mission. And we want you to represent our brand. All right? Makes sense? Now, where the confusion comes in, a lot of people chase the wrong bag. And it's not just kids, it's professionals. So let me explain this to you. If you have 1 million followers and you come in, you would probably get about $5,000 possibly from platform, right? Say there's 3 of them. So let's say you would get somewhere 7, maybe 15. And I'm being very generous. Right. Okay. Now, what people don't understand is most of the people that make money on social media, they are attached to a product, a course, a subscription, or something like that. It's not your likes. What I have seen is a lot of people confused chasing the likes, meaning that I'm going to get up and do something crazy to give y'all something to talk about every day to be able to get likes. But you're forfeiting, because of your image and your brand, you're forfeiting being able to represent a wonderful company. So where that wonderful company would have written you a check for $500,000 to millions of dollars, you're forfeiting it because you're chasing $5,000 a month. You're chasing the wrong bag. Good job. You lost in life, right? So we see this a lot. Let's look at Angel Reese. So Angel Reese has Reese's, she has Beats by Dre, she has Reebok, she has whatever. She has about 2 million followers. So she's created an ecosystem. Why does she have all of these followers? Because these are people who look to her. Now, she also has Victoria's Secrets. She has all of these, and she's continuously getting brands. In that, just because of who she is, she has her NIL, she has what? McDonald's, all of these different plays that she's getting a constant check from. Okay. Whereas we see other athletes who could be doing really well, who are arguing on Facebook or on Instagram about absolutely nothing just so you can get a $5,000 check. No brand is going to represent them because you look crazy. Right? So in it, we have to be aware of where the money goes. And I even say, I'll use myself as an example. So something about the NILs, right? There's people that go on to TikTok and I see them talk about the same person over and over again. Now I could talk about the same person every day and talk about NILs, right? But guess what? That would diminish my brand. So while I'm worried about $2,000 ain't gonna do nothing for me, but get on my nerves, right? I can't do nothing with that. So instead of me worrying about getting a monthly $2,000 because I'm talking about the same person or the same group that gets likes, I'll sign a contract with a major school system that'll get me $150,000 to $200,000. So I don't know. Y'all do the math. That math ain't mathing. So again, there is a point where you have to be able to understand what bag is important. Also, what we talk to our students about is representation, putting yourself in a position to grow. Right? With NILs, those are going to be mostly local businesses or events or camps, but putting yourself in a position that you can grow. So your cousin may have a wonderful clothing line, but if it's shoot 'em up and all that other stuff, then Nike might not look for you. So put yourself and understand. And then last but not least, what I'll leave with is brands are not looking for talent. Talent gets you visibility. Nobody really cares if you shot the ball that week or whatever. What they care about, honestly, is do you represent their vision? They're not going to pay you to sit at home. We saw that with the guy who just lost the Nike contract. But talent is not enough. It's really about brand awareness. So in the NIL programs that we teach parents, your kid isn't going to get an NIL and he's the shooter. I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. So making sure that you put them in a position to be able to win and be able to connect with brands and be seen as a winner.
So is it just education on that side, or do you actually insure those things?
So we do insure NILs. Let's look at what that means. So in certain contracts, NILs are usually produced by a trust. So that trust can be from the university or it can be from a nonprofit entity, but they're in a trust, and that trust has decided that this is what we're going to pay out. So in those cases, a lot of times they can say, okay, great. Let's say it's $100,000, right? And they say, okay, great. So Johnny, we have $100,000 contract. We're expecting this for the whole year, and we're going to front you 50% of it, right? So you get $50,000 now, you get $50,000 later. There's going to be a contract that is put up, and then there'll be obligations that are on there. So let's say Johnny tears his rotator cuff and he can't meet the obligations. They fronted you 50, right? And so now you have an injury, we can provide them up to 80% to make them back home.
Got it. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Either that or you on the hook.
Right. Exactly. Either that or you got to pay back that $50,000. Okay.
So this is the thing. In all contract, you need to have some type of protection. That's just point blank, period. And this point of your career and the access, I use as example, kids have a ability to be able to, right? And to be able to make a lot of money. But that takes preparation and protection to be able to do.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Yeah. That's awesome. Like that whole industry is not something I'm familiar with, but it's a lot. And it sounds like there's a lot of opportunity over there.
It's a lot of opportunity.
Because that landscape just changed, right? Because back in the day, so for reference, I went to USC, right? I went to USC 1999 through 2005. And well, I went there with Carson Palmer, Reggie Bush, all these people was making money for the universities. The universities was getting paid and they couldn't get paid. They name, image, and likeness belonged to the university. And so now we're seeing a shift where I want to be able to profit off of it, because damn sure know that all these buildings that you bought around here in LA are from the money that you made off of me. Why am I not profiting off of that? And so that landscape just really, I want to say how many years, it's very new that these people can.
It's very new in the fact that, so it's real to your point, as far as NILs have been around about 8 years, maybe a decade. But let's just be honest with you. I'm going to be honest with you. First 5 years, didn't nobody really, right? Nobody really know. And people still don't.
No, and the way that you broke it down was so, you're like me, like you break stuff down in a way that people can understand, so that they like, duh, like why wouldn't I do that? Like that makes 100% sense.
Well, but the other thing is negotiating and putting yourself in, because contracts are about positioning, right? So it's not just be telling the director, athletic director, executive director of one of the schools, when we were talking, and he was telling me about one of the teachers or whatever calling and having some people of the girls team, and he asked them some questions, and it was stuff that was totally illegal. So this is the thing, and I don't tell people what I do. And right now I'm in Michigan. This is a very big sports
state, for sure.
Right. I was listening to guys, and he's just a very avid supporter. And he was telling somebody else about how the team that he was, next year we're going to pay to get some people to come over. You can't. You know what I mean? Like you can't do that. Like everybody gets to do that. So, he was telling them that he was going to be paying kids that went to another district
to come over to school. Like, you going to get it.
That's not how it works. Right. So a lot of people, and then I get people all the time that'll tell me, my uncle said that, and I'm like, yeah, but your uncle is a mechanic. And he ain't picked up a ball since 1987. What are you doing here? Like this, right? So major. I don't know if anybody that was out there that recently got a chance to watch the NCAA. U of M won, but the Fab Five were out there. And so 5 was when I'll be 48 Sunday.
Happy birthday. Okay, Chris. Okay.
Yes, honey. Yes. I was one of those girls that was in love with the Fab Five, with Jalen, Chris, and everybody. But they were the NIL deal that did not pay out, right? U of M made tons of money. Do you know they're still selling Rose and Weber jerseys to this day?
Of course.
Yeah. Right now, Weber, a lot of them did really well. But again, that was the NIL that did not pay out. So definitely a cautionary tale. We just see it. And so these kids have an opportunity to change, to shrink the wealth gap. The other that is a cautionary tale, but we saw all the time. How many basketball and football players did we see coming up who had to do, whether it's sell drugs or whatever, to even buy sneakers so that they can get on the field? That's not even an option. You don't have to do that. Right? With the NIL, you could have someone to go to an AA camp, that your parents couldn't afford. So there's a lot of different avenues.
Thank you for opening my eyes to that, because that world to me is so foreign. But a lot of us have kids that are professional athletes. A lot of my friends, they were Olympians and all this kind of stuff. And they in their 40s now broke, when they could have made money, stacked that money, and been living off of that money forever. But then I also like the fact that there's an insurable component to that. So it kind of gives you a guaranteed income. Yeah.
At the end of the day, every athlete is one injury away, right? You're playing hard, and especially my football people, and there are coverages for them, not as extensive, but there are some coverages or whatever for them in NBA and NFL, mainly NFL, but definitely NBA, but college. Think about it like this. Even with scholarships or whatever, imagine, even if you didn't go pro, because NIL, but imagine putting yourself in a position where you had $100,000 coming out of school instead of $100,000 in debt. That's life changing, right? That's life changing.
Yeah.
And draft weekend, they signed the contract, the kids crying, and the first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna buy my mama a house. Yes, I know this. I know you're gonna buy your mama a house, but there are still opportunities for those kids who don't go. And then last but not least, what we do is we teach them how to transfer those life skills and those goals so that they can be successful in anything that they do.
No, I love the education component, because there are people that I just tell people and not do that piece, right? The education is key. Education, that's more powerful than anything else you can put in front of a kid, but also the parents, because like I said, this is a new industry. Most people don't understand. Most people, they're looking for like that big payout when they get drafted and all that kind of stuff, not looking at all the other opportunities. Believe you me, other people are profiting on, and they've been looking at that for years. How early do you start talking to parents about this?
So we're starting a pilot program, and we're doing it with 9th through 12th graders. And the reason why we stay in there, because in most places, most states where they have quote unquote exposure camps, an exposure camp it's like the combine for high schoolers. So this is where the talented people go and they get exposed, and then they invite college recruiters. Kids also can be noticed from social media. They'll run the yards and all of the other stuff friends and do same things, same drills or whatever that they do at the combine. Those are often done. It's going to depend on your state. Now, in the state of Michigan, our Michigan High School Athletics Association now allows high schoolers to be able to take advantages of NILs. That varies from state to state. I will say this, and I just saw Mike Beasley say the same thing. Let them enjoy the game at first, right? I say high school, I would probably say high school. I can see where there's a balance with the family, if there's a balance with the parents or whatever, not letting them get too crazy, right? Don't have them acting like they're a celebrity already, right? But it's okay to educate them and let them be aware to act as if they have something to lose, if that makes sense.
Yes,
right?
100%.
I think that's part, they need to still enjoy the game. They still need to have camaraderie and still be able to enjoy being a game. But they need to understand there's consequences, and those bad decisions can put them in a position to lose.
No, I love that you start at that level and like act like you got something to lose, like enjoy the game. We not like blowing your head up like you're going to be all of this, but you still need to operate from a position like this, because I mean, that's underrated. Like, I really feel like a lot of people, there's no reputation management, you know what I'm saying? We got to get it together, because you have so much to lose. There's so much on the line. But then on the other hand, when do you get to the point where it's like, all right, mama, we about to go into college? When do you have the conversation? You have an insurable asset now. Like, at what point did that conversation come?
Well, when you're looking at the stats, you're looking at being in a position where the talk is possibly being into the draft lottery. All those things are going to be important. And then people reach out to me all the time. We can pull up who's on the draft, who's going to be in the draft lottery or whatever. We just need their first name, their last name, and the school, right? Mm-hmm. So that's in the portals or whatever. So we can always see that, right? And then, so here's the deal. If your kid has not played 2 minutes in a whole season or whatever, you can call me, and I mean, I can tell you I'm the Princess Sheba. That don't make it so. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't make it so. You can't just insure something that's not insurable, right? Exactly. You know what I mean? It's not worth it. But we do start to have those conversations. I also tell people the way that agents work now are different, right? So before, you used to would get an agent, and that agent did everything, right? They kind of did everything. Well, a lot of people got into trouble.
And a lot of people got jacked.
Self-dealing, and they came on. So now what agents do is they become the quarterback, and then they create a team. So there's the agent here. They're going to get an attorney. They'll get an accountant, maybe a manager, because they may manage dates and a host of other things, right? And then a financial advisor and an insurance person, right? So we become a part of their team. In a lot of cases, what those agencies do is they put us on a list of people that they work with, and then those parents or their support system interviews us and find who they connect with, and then they go from there. Most of the Black mamas pick me.
I see why, because you're going to keep it real.
Yeah, yeah, because they know I'm gonna tell it like a TI is, right? So most of the black moms
Exactly.
pick me. The black daddies don't pick me as often. They don't not pick me. But the black mamas, if she in control, I know I got the client. Mm-hmm. It's a done deal. Mm-hmm. But the black daddies, now I have had black fathers have to come back to me.
We know why.
Yeah, they had to come back to me.
Say less, sis. We already know what it is. Mm-hmm. We already know what time it is.
They don't want me at first. I say, yeah, now I'm hot, you all on me. You don't fool me. You don't fool me, daddy. You don't fool me. I done seen this movie before.
No, I love that. I love that. Thank you so much for talking about that space, because I know a lot of people that are in that position with kids that are going into professional athletic space, and the landscape is totally different. I just feel like that's another industry where I feel like as Black people, we were exploited, and managers and agents taking people's money and nothing to show for it, not even like losing contracts. And on the reputation management side, it's just so much. There was just so much opportunity to be taken advantage of, and all of your stuff be used for somebody else's profit. And I like that there is some work in the right direction.
So let me say this. A lot of y'all out there, girlfriends, y'all ain't gonna like me, but this is the hard truth. Every contract is predatory. It's supposed to be.
That's how it is.
When I go into a meeting, I'm not having my attorney create a contract that I lose. It's supposed to be like that. Mm-hmm. Now, it's not my fault that my attorney is better than yours. Mm-hmm. And I think that we've gotten into a situation in 2026 with ChatGPT, Claude, and everything else. If you are in a bad contract in 2026, that's your fault. It ain't nobody else's fault but yours. Because I'm telling you right now, y'all, I go into the meetings and I make grown white men. Mm-hmm. And I don't play no games, but that's because I have an attorney. I have a team of attorneys behind me that I could go in there. I had a situation where they wanted to look at it was AI systems or whatever, and I sent them out a NDA, and they said, "Oh no, we don't have to sign yours because you signed ours."
No.
I said, "Well, we can cancel the meeting." I said, "No." We ended up going into the meeting, and they asked me, two white guys. They was cute. They said, "Oh, well, you can just give us your clients and we'll work with them." And I said, "Look here, white man. Let me tell you something."
Oh my God.
The point of all this is that there is a difference between somebody being greedy and us being thirsty. Two totally different things. You do not have to agree to everything. There is absolutely no meeting that I go in that I am not willing to walk away with. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. There is nothing. I don't owe nobody no money, y'all. I don't owe nobody no money. I don't owe nobody nothing. And so that's the thing. I think a lot of times when we talk about predatory, people are so thirsty. If it sounds too good to be true, guess what? Hell, it probably is.
That's the thing, is that you're smart enough to know the game. You came at it from a different perspective.
And it goes right back to our original statement. In life, you either the hoe or you the pimp.
That is exactly what I was going to say. But in life, you are wired to look at things like a pimp. You like, I'm not about to be exploited. To be honest and to be blunt, most people in society are taught to be hoes. We can talk about this as capitalism. If you want to look at it as a capitalistic umbrella, the people on the top are pimps, and they are very few and far between. The rest of us is hoes, and that's how we're going to continue to be treated until we educate ourselves.
Right. If you don't change, right?
Exactly. It depends on how thirsty you are. Too many of us are out here hella thirsty, and like you said, in this age of AI, if you getting pimped, it's your own fault.
It's your fault. You decided to. You said, "Lube me up, give it to me." Mm-hmm. Because people will come to me all the time and they, especially in cannabis in the green space, that they were in a predatory contract. How? You can't read? It says on here 110% balloon payment and 10. What? And you just thought, and it says we will take your whole company and your house and your liver. And you signed it. That's your fault. That is your fault. And that's the thing. It's about accountability. Do you know how many times a week, maybe a day, but you know how many times a week I have to tell staff. Oh yeah, I totally messed that up. That didn't go the way I planned. That's accountability. I don't have the opportunity to lie to these people. Their livelihoods are based on me. So in that passing the puck was so, no. This was your fault. Mm-hmm. This was your fault. Mm-hmm. This was your fault. And so when I go into these meetings, my goal, even when I'm negotiating and I'm reviewing for insurance, because the insurance that we do has mirror the contract. So I see the contract before I insure it. And I will say, you said, this look crazy. Okay. Because I can't give you no more coverage. If everything on here is excluded, everything on here is excluded. Mm-hmm. So we have to be clear about that. If I'm in a cannabis and we're doing coverages and they sign a lease agreement or a distribution or some type of agreement, and I had somebody ask for $10 million in coverage, these people didn't even sell $1 million last year.
Why? How does that make sense?
They wanted us to cover a building for $3 million. The building was only worth $800,000.
Make that make sense.
I could cover this for $10 million. Here's the deal. The replacement value is only, so we can do this all day, but you only gonna get what the building is worth. They're not gonna give you like and this is the extra part. It doesn't work like that, right?
But Cimone, people will do that to them.
Right. And so that's why it is important that we educate ourselves. That's why it's important for you to have podcasts, internet, financially intentional. It is important that you understand that everything is up for negotiation. Mm-hmm. Everything is up for negotiation. You don't have to say yes. That's not mandatory.
Well, Cimone, we got the read we all did not know that we needed. If we didn't get nothing, y'all got put up on some game in this episode. And let me just say, I really think you're a phenomenal woman. And, I see it. I see it. It's there.
I give it to them just like they like it.
Yeah, exactly. But I think it's a testament to like you going after what you want and not letting obstacles get in the way. And I think that if nobody takes anything away from this episode, I really think that people should take away the tenacity, because without a degree, without all this stuff that people say, I can't do this until I get X, Y, and Z and check off the boxes. She was like, I'm going to make it happen. And I'm going to break into an industry that doesn't have anybody that looks like me in it. Not only am I going to go into it, but I'm going to revolutionize it, because I'm going to put in things in place that people ain't thinking about. They moving slow. I'm going to revolutionize this industry, and I'm not going to be coward, and I'm not going to be punked. And I'm coming into these meetings and I'm owning the rooms. And I love that. Thank
you. One other thing that I will tell you that I think we have to get to the point, and I've learned this. If you're lucky, your business outgrows you, right? If you're lucky. And so now my business is at a place you barely see me. It is hard. I've seen a lot of sisters. And I think this is really, really important. We see a lot of sisters, their face is the brand, right? And I just want to put this into perspective. It is very hard for you to run the day-to-day operations as a CEO and also go to every bozo breakfast to be able to sit there and be on a panel. And let me make sure that I'm being clear about this. Visibility is important, right? If you're really good, you get to the point where nobody knows who you are. And that's where I'm going. Thank you, Jesus. And so in perspective, so having a global company, I'm having meetings at 4:00 in the morning with my team in London, right? You don't sleep, you take naps because you got to be up when these people are, right? So when that happens, it is very hard to do that and jump on a plane every 5 minutes. Now it looks great because they might pay you $20,000 for an hour on stage. And when you look at one account, it's full of money, right? But all of the stuff that's in the back is not being taken care of. Seeing this over and over and over again with my beautiful sisters, they lose focus of being the CEO and want to become the face. Go and let another company pay you to be an ambassador, right? Run your own, though. Yes. Run your own. And so with that being said, I've gotten to a point where I hire out, right? You know what I mean? Where I hire out, but I'm not the face of my company anymore. Thank God, right? I don't travel as much. If I go, it's a big ticket to it. And it's not a big ticket for me to come and speak. It's a big ticket for the company. Does that make sense?
Yep, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So if y'all see this, as much as I love y'all, don't invite me to your women's meeting or because I ain't coming. Right. Don't send me a request for mentorship. I love you to death, but I love you from a distance. I'm not mentoring you. I have a whole corporation to run. Right? There's a difference.
Yes.
I don't want to be on your reality show. All of y'all bankrupt or in foreclosure. That's not attractive to me. Where are we going together? Right? How you making more money and you in more trouble? This is crazy. You done did the wrong thing. So no, I don't. I'm focused on building conglomerate, right? I have the opportunity to be the largest company in commercial cannabis and beyond. So that's where I'm focused, and that's just where my ruthers are.
Well, Cimone, now I just feel honored that you spent this time with me because I'm like,
Yes. I mean, I love good stuff like this, but am I just getting up on a plane to talk? I don't want to be at the World Women's Meeting. Most of y'all got bad attitudes anyway, but I love you, right? Right? Definitely with sisterhood, we just got to toughen up, right? We just got to toughen up. And I know that sounds so cliche. And I'm not saying become a man or even more of a strong, just become smarter about the decisions that we make. I don't want you to work no harder. That's not the answer. Don't go from 5 degrees to 10 degrees or whatever. Let me tell you something. It don't matter. It don't even matter no more, right? Do what you're passionate about. Do what you get up to live, but be smart about it. And that's it.
Well, Cimone, let me just tell you again, thank you for blessing us because you put a lot on us today. And like the biggest impact that I feel like I can make in this world is to show people what's possible. And I really thank you for being so honest and so open. And I know it's probably just who you are and that's how you show up because I'm just like that too. Yeah, I think people needed to hear this. They needed this wake up. They needed this reality, a different perspective and a different way of moving through life. And the analogy that you're going to be a pimp or a hoe, like really just think about that.
One, but you can't be both.
That part.
You can't be both. Some people, no. I'm the pimp. Yes. There's only one person in this world that see the other side of me.
That's right, honey. But anyway, Cimone, I know you're a busy lady, and I really, really appreciate you spending time with us on this podcast. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you and to get to know you. And I know my audience is just falling in love with you just like I have. So I really appreciate you.
And I love y'all back. Y'all back. Definitely not. And my love is a little tough, but I'm telling you, girlfriend, it's only because I'm rooting for you.
Yes.
It's only because I'm rooting for you.
Yes.
I want to see you win.
We need that. So thank you.